Hello everyone, welcome to part 3 of the ultimate guide to making YAKUZA renders in Blender. Now in this video we will be covering the Compositor, we'll be covering, and we'll also be covering shaders. That's about it for this part, so let's get into it. For starters, let's cover the Compositor. Alright, so before you do anything, what you want to do is you want to go here where it says shading in rendered mode, or any mode really. I'm pretty sure if I go into solid, we'll probably have it. Hold on. No, you have to be another material preview or rendered. So we're gonna go into rendered, and we're going to go all the way down to where it says Compositor, and then we're going to click Always. There. Now you may have noticed nothing's changed, right? Well, that's because you haven't done shit in the Compositor. So now we're going to go to the Compositor window, and I'm just going to make another workspace area. 3D viewport is going to be on the side so that we can see our stuff in real time and don't have to switch workspaces. So we're going to put in the camera, zoom in, and now to start editing the Compositor, what you want to do is you want to add nodes. So you just click this check mark where it says use nodes, and then boom. Since we rendered in the last video, you're going to see this. Now, using nodes in the Compositor is kind of similar to using them in the shader editor, except there's kind of a lot more to, a lot less vector stuff. Well, that doesn't make it easy. Okay, it's all based on editing an image. Like, let's say you want to use the color ramp. So you drag and drop this in the middle. We'll see what happens. It's not showing here. So once again, Compositor, make it always. See that? Now it's all black and white. We can get rid of that. But if you get rid of a node, just remember to always put it back, put the render layers back. So I'll show you the nodes that I usually use for renders. It's not a lot. I think it's only 2. To start off, we want to go to Lens Distortion. And then we want to go to Color Balance. These 2 nodes here are the nodes I use the absolute most. For starters, let's plug in Lens Distortion. I'll just show you what this does. So, if we change distortion from 0 to 1, yeah, you'll notice the image got all messed up. So we're going to change that back to 0 because that's not what I wanted to edit. Let's change that to 1. Then you'll notice this weird effect on the sides. This is chromatic aberration. Usually I put it at 0.5, not 0.5, 0.05. There. And this is used for creating a sort of, like if you look at a real life photos, like at like the edges there might be a little bit of chromatic aberration. It really depends on the camera. But chromatic aberration, it, like, kind of like distorts, like warps the RGB values of the image at the edges of the image. For example, I'll look here, and it won't be on the screen actually. So I'm going to change that dispersion from 0.5 to 0.1. There, now you can actually see it in the render. It won't show in like the middle parts. I don't think so. It'll only show in your field of view, but during the render, it will like show and stuff. I think you can possibly see it here. I'm not sure. Let's attempt seeing this in the render result, in the render image, in the render view. Let me see what rendering looks like. Alright. Seeing the compositor settings anywhere. No, it's not applying to the image. So yeah, let's go back to the compositor. So what this is doing is essentially adding chromatic aberration in real time to Blender. I mean, you could do this in post-processing, but I feel like it's easier to just do it in the render in the compositor than to do it outside of that. If you're wondering what this color balance node is for, let me just show you. Plug this in. So let's say I wanted this to be green, like Kiwami 2. Put it around this value, and then boom, we got the Kiwami green. That is all I use this color balance node for. Nothing else. There's no real reason for me to use this node. It's just there for filters. There's plenty other nodes you could use, but like I don't really use a lot of nodes. It's just those two usually, because I really like giving renders filters every now and then. This one doesn't have one, as you can see. I'm just gonna play around with because I don't really like experiment with these a lot. So I'm just trying to fucking look for shit. Oh, would you look at that? There's a lot of blurs. There's anti-aliasing, denoising, despeckle, there's dilating, eroding, and glare. Oh, there's also posterize. It does this. This won't be useful until we get to the Kurohyou video. Yeah, so until that video comes out, we won't be using this posterize node. Let me go back to where I was. Pixelate. It does what you might think it does. It just pixelates the render. It's pretty simple. Oh boy. Okay, now it's gone. As far as the compositor, I'm trying to find a very specific blur. Glare. I'm not sure what this glare node does. Yeah, right now I'm just playing around with the compositor, trying to see what works and what doesn't, what looks good and what doesn't look good. I want it to be. I don't want it to be denoised. It's despeckled too. Yeah, I would just leave this alone for now. Okay, I'll try one more thing out because yeah, I still want. I wonder what Kuahara. What does that do? Okay. Let's see what these Classic, with an isotropic. Yeah, that does that, I guess. Not something you'd use. But, yeah, you can sort of fuck with the compositor, see what looks good to you, and basically just figure out what you want to do with your renders. I'm not going to tell you what to do. There's also these here. I'm going to put the color balance node back again. Just to set in stone that orange color palette. So I can change the gamma as well. I'd rather not do that because the gamma, there's no point in changing that. What about the gain? So I'd play with the lift and the gain. The lift is what I use to get that Kiwami look, and the gain is what I use to... The gain is basically just adding to that. Alright, now let's go to the shading tab. Now that we're done with that, give it some time. So now we're going to make this more visible. Now, in the last video, I mentioned the fact that you can't use, hey, would you look at that? Hold on. And I also forgot to mention during the posing video, I'm so sorry. If you want to edit, if you want to completely like remove pose data, you want to go to where it says pose on this bar, scroll down to where it says clear transform, use one of these shortcuts or just press all. There. Now it's reset to its initial position. I'm just going to put it back to where I wanted it to be. Just wanted to show that off. How did I forget that? Alright. Back on topic to the dragon, to the shaders I was going to talk about. Let me hide the armature. Yeah, so one thing to note about YAKUZA images, about well, YAKUZA renders, is that, I mean, you can make renders with the Neo shader. It looks fine. It looks, I'd say it looks good even, depending on how you light it and all the other factors that come into play when you're making a render. It looks fine. But if you want like the most accurate pictures, let me show you pictures of YAKUZA 7 of let me use pictures of like a Dragon 8 for example, and give me a second to search for them. Alright, so I'm going to use Dwight as an example. If we look very closely at his skin, right here, zoom in further, you're going to immediately notice a few things. One, his skin seems to be a lot more, well, harder, and let me get a picture of Ichiban just to make it more fair. Okay, so yeah, I can find a picture of Ichiban. That was good, so we'll just use Wong To instead. If you notice his face, you'll notice that the subsurface scattering isn't nearly as strong. like even in the ears. Like if we put a light that's let's go back to Blender. Let's hide all our lights just for this. Let's change the compositor to just camera in this scenario. So we're just going to put a sun here. Let's change it to maybe 6. You'll see Ichiban here. I'm pretty sure the light is nowhere near as strong as the one in the Wong To picture, but you'll see that a subsurface scattering is much more prominent. Keep it like this. Yeah, that's not how it is like in the Dragon Engine or in real life either. So we're just gonna delete this, and we're just gonna show this again. So my point is here is we want to have a more accurate shader. Now, even then, I don't think you entirely need to switch shaders. Like, oh, sorry. Oh my god. I saw this yesterday while I was recording the part for showing off what the textures do. We can change that to a TR, and the change is made. I don't know if it actually does anything. Just have to see about that. Hey, would you look at that? It reacts to lights a lot better. We'll add another sunlight. It seems to react to lights a lot better. And then we'll have the strength set to 6 once again. And would you look at that? Bing bada boom, the subsurface scattering is nowhere near as bad as before. But I'd much rather use... Me personally, I'd much rather use... Galen's shader. So, remember wondering, who is Galen and what does that shader do? So Galen... Yeah, how do I explain this? He's a Blender artist. He created the Dragon Engine shader, which was the main shader that people had to use before the Neo YAKUZA shader, and version 0.50 of the Neo GMD plugin existed. We had to use Galen's shader. So yeah, you can keep the Neo shader if you like that. I'm just showing an alternative that if you'd rather use that it is available. And it is made to look more accurate to the Dragon Engine. Because at the end of the day, this Neo shader is for modding purposes. At its first and foremost. And making it look like the games is a secondary thing. So, let's get Galen's shader into here. I'm wondering, well, how do I do that? It's easy, really. So you're going to go here on the file, you're going to click append. And then I'm gonna put a link to download Galen Shader in the description. You're gonna find you're gonna look for Nodegroups. Okay, you're just gonna have to find where you put your shader. I put mine in my Blender folder under another folder called Nodegroups. You can ignore all these. This is the one. This is the main one. Galen DE shader. Now you're gonna have a lot of these options. You can pick two of these. You're gonna have to pick material or node tree. Let's go with node tree because you don't have useless materials that you will not use. You won't see this. I made some minor edits because of the hair shader not working in Blender 4 correctly. So yeah, I imported a model just to test it out. So what you want to import is the winkle map for the face, the Dragon Engine shader, and the DE hair shader. The DE hair shader actually is optional. It's not required because Not Yoshi shader does a pretty good job of emulating Dragon Engine hair. But I'm still going to import it anyway, just to show you how to use it in case you want to. Now we'll just press append, and now we have everything inside. So to start, we're going to start off by editing. Was that stone on color? Yes, we're gonna edit the Neo YAKUZA shader. We're gonna edit Ichiban's face first. So you want to add group Dragon Engine shader new. Then we're gonna go here. Now we're just going to plug every texture into where it should go. And you might have noticed before that TR was in the RD slot and the TS was in the RS slot. And you may be wondering, where the hell is the RS? That doesn't exist in the Dragon Engine. I'll explain that later when I get to Old Engine, the Old Engine shader by Not Yoshi, who also created the Neo YAKUZA shader. But, yeah, so you have quite a few. You have quite a few of these inputs. There's diffuse input. I'm going to plug in the DI. But make sure you change the color space from non-color to sRGB. It's required, absolutely. MT is right here. The normal map goes here. Or basically just read what it says and then put it in a recording spot. So the TS goes here. Noise goes into RT because it's a repeating normal. And then the TR goes into the TR. Now we're just going to plug that into surface. And then we're going to see the difference between what we had before. And you see now, you can still see the subsurface scattering. It's a lot similar to what was there before. But let me show my original setup. You're wondering, what's the difference? It looks practically the same as what it was like before. Well, with this shader, you can do something very fun. So, I'll leave that alone. We're going to go back, Shift A, wrinkle map face, and we're going to plug it into the TS factor. But I'm going to show you what the TS factor does. So we're going to scroll down, and then we're going to move this slider, TS fac, boom. Now automatically you'll see Ichiban has a lot more wrinkles on around his nose area, around his here, his mouth. It's less noticeable for me at least, and his forehead. So yeah, the TS factor controls the wrinkles. So now what's the point of this wrinkle map node group? This controls what specific area you want the wrinkles to edit. So let's wait for it to load. If I want the forehead to have wrinkles, we're going to just put it to 1. See how nothing else changed? Because this is we're going to see how this works. See if I can explain it. Okay, that's too complicated for me. So what I'm guessing is that it's taking these add nodes, and it's basically using a mask. Okay, the color attribute right here. It's using the color attribute here to basically filter out areas of the face using that TS map to essentially use only certain parts of the TS factor at a time. I hope that's correct. I'm not an expert with shaders, I'm still learning, but yeah, but if I want to open the mouth, I'll probably put these a little bit lower. The mouth isn't that open. And yeah, I could live with this. And this looks fine. Now let's just apply this to Psycho. And I'd recommend you do this for all the hand. Personally, I would recommend you do this for all of the skin. So you do it for the hands, if you have a shirtless model, do it for the body, and the neck joints. Possibly I'll talk about that when I talk about the old engine, because I don't have a model with a neck joint right now. So yeah, we'll just plug it in, same as Ichiban. You might be wondering with Psycho's names, what is up with Ayaka and Nanoha? It's pretty simple. In the April Fool's demo of Yakuza 7, Psycho's name was Ayaka, and Nanoha, well, they're supposed to look the same, Psycho and Nanoha, so they use similar textures because they're practically twins. I mean, they literally are twins. So yeah, let's change the diffuse once again. Non-color, just RGB. So, boom, surface. Wait for it to load. There. No, it doesn't look as odd. Hopefully I can get a picture of this from the side. Yeah. So yeah, let me show you how to use the hair shader now. It's about time I talk about that. Alright. So Shift A, import a group, DE hair shader this time. Now we're just gonna put everything in as normal. Let's again change the color space to non-color. Not from non-colored. We're going to change it to sRGB. Boom. And we're just going to import the BSDF. surface. And then wait for it to load. You might notice that nothing changed. That's odd. Okay, first, let me just make the gain less prominent. Okay, so before it didn't used to be like this. The anisotropy intensity, I'll change it to 0.5 just to be safe. And yeah, you might be wondering, nothing changed. Yeah, nothing changed. You want to use the glossiness invert here, and you also want to be using the specular inverts. I suggest you mess around with those until you get a desired result. We'll try to aim for more glossy hair with Psycho. Think this works for her? Yeah. And one last thing. We're going to go into solid mode for this. This isn't a required thing, but we're going to go into tab with edit mode. Just press A. I'm going to subdivide the hair because it looks better like that. So yeah, press tab to enter and exit edit mode, or you can do it the same way you do pose mode. Object mode, where it says object mode, you click that, and then you press edit mode from here. Just press A or select all in the wireframe mode, because if you select all, if you try to, or just box select in wireframe so you can get everything. I'm just gonna do the A mode. So what you're gonna do, there's two ways to do this. Is it in face? Yes. You can either go here to where it says face, and then press tries to quads, or you can press Alt J. Now, all your triangles will be converted to squares. Now that that's done, we have a model that has the square meshes. We're going to go here to this modifier tab. Oh shit. Don't actually do that. Oh fucking hell. Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. We're gonna go here to geometry nodes. Not geometry nodes. What the hell am I doing? We're gonna go here, add modifier, search for subdivision surface. Give it a second to load, because my computer takes a while. Because my computer sucks. Okay, there we go. Now it's subdivided. Use the Catmull-Clark method, because I don't know if the simple mode works. If you don't know who this is, he's the guy who invented subdivision. Bro, it's pretty awesome. Alright, so I'm going to subdivide her hair by 2, and I'm going to do the same for Kasuga. Once again, press tab, press A, Alt J, and now we're just going to do this. There. Add modifier. We can also go to generate here, and then look for subdivision surface. Click that. Oh. Now, isn't that interesting? Possibly looks winch into 0. That's weird. So I'm going to switch this from where to subdivide this twice. And then we'll see just what it looks like in the rendered view. Alright. Now we have smoother hair in real time. Now that we have this ready,
it's pretty safe to say we're practically okay with the render. Give me a second. I need to change the aspect ratio. Let me see what it is. Alright, I found the aspect ratio I needed. Let me double check. Alright. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Then move it to the left. To the left. Alright, now that we have subdivided hair for Psycho and Ichiban, we can now render. And, I don't really have much to say. This was a pretty short video, I'm assuming. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh, 40 minutes. That's not as short as I was expecting. But hey, we'll render. Shorter than the last video, at least. So I'll just wait for it to render. So the next video, I'll talk about the old engine, finally. Next video will be on the old engine shader by Nayoshi. And that's all it will be about. And then the video after that, I'll make a video specifically dedicated to Kenzan and its models. Because Kenzan's situation is pretty interesting. So yeah, once this finishes rendering, we'll be done with the video. So actually this might take a while, so I'll just end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in next time, and I will be hope to see you in part 4. Bye bye.